Taxi Driver is an ugly portrait of ourselves. Our protagonist, Travis Bickle, repeatedly states his disgust for the city and how he wants to rid it of its filth. But as Betsy says, he's a walking contradiction. Travis wishes to clean the city of its scum but also actively participates in its destruction as he constantly visits adult theaters, takes pills, eats nothing but junk food, amongst other things. He contradicts his statements, and this makes him an all the more interesting character. The story could have simply been about how a lonely man lashes out at the flawed society, but Taxi Driver approaches a more nuanced lens by letting us know that the flaw is also within ourselves. Travis purposely isolates himself from others. This is shown to us multiple times through the magnificent framing in this film, as he's often by himself in shots. Another visual technique used is when Travis is at the center of focus, his surroundings are often blurred out. It's as if he doesn't even register them. Travis can choose to be more social, but instead he refuses to and blames everyone but himself for it. This is his flaw. I think the reason for him being a cab driver is great because being in that vehicle is almost an escape for him. The glasses and windshield of the car shield him from the real world. He lives inside this fantasy world he's created for himself, where he is the hero, where he is the righteous one. Travis views his customers through a rear view mirror, as in viewing them from a distance, visually reinforcing his disdain towards others. He projects his flaws onto the people he meets. Betsy, the girl Travis is infatuated with, is also a great character. She's a form of reality check. To him, she is this untouchable angel, someone who's out of his league, but he tries anyway. Travis's persistent nature is what makes him engaging to watch. He thinks she deserves to be saved from the filth of this town. He feels responsible for doing so, although she seems to have no problem with the town. And with the character of Iris too. She is the one who really needs saving, and Travis tries to help her too, although she adjusts to her lifestyle. Our character isn't morally black and white. There's good, bad, and questionable aspects to him, making him more real, for the lack of a better term. In one scene, he stares at a bubbling juice as the camera severely zooms into it. The sound and visuals indicate to us that Travis is a ticking time bomb who could go off any second. Even the ticking score is an auditory confirmation of this. As the story progresses and Travis goes through hardships, his condition worsens. The film doesn't treat its protagonist as an external insane person, but also doesn't glorify him and his actions, despite it from being shown from his perspective. Travis is just a man floating through the city. He purposely tortures himself by visiting the dark parts of the city he hates, and that, in a twisted sense, is somewhat relatable. There's even a hint at possible racism in his character, but it isn't so blatant. Although Travis is someone we shouldn't aspire to be, he still has aspects to him that we can relate to. He's lonely, depressed, and faces rejection, things that we can latch onto. But the film pulls us from under the rug and takes things too far, to the point where understanding his perspective becomes almost impossible.
The one that really moved me the most was Taxi Driver, I think. I remember watching it at 15 years old and being transfixed with Travis Bickle because I was locked into this character and I felt such incredible empathy towards. I understood him. I understood his loneliness, and then he deceived me. And at the point he deceived me, I said, who is this guy that I'm watching? Who is this person? And I was identifying with him, and I was with him on this whole journey, and all of a sudden, this is not the person that I thought he was. And to me, it's just really the greatest independent film ever made. It really is.
Schrader's extraordinary.
Paul Schrader.
Paul Schrader's script.
I think you had something to do with it.
No, but Paul went through a lot on that one. He could have delivered this. It was amazing.
In a brilliant scene where a customer voices his violent tendencies, played by Martin Scorsese, Travis realizes that he doesn't have to wait for someone to clean up the streets. He can take action himself, and so he prepares himself to combat the issue. This is really good, as this makes Travis an active character who actively pursues his goal, making him more interesting. Each step in the screenplay fleshes him out, but also makes him impossible to read. That's simply brilliant. In an extremely bloody climax, it doesn't glorify it, but forces us to witness the bloodshed. It's a resolution befitting to the story as it finally blows off Travis's building frustration. The violence is messy and unnecessary. Travis might seem like he's doing this for others, but it's all for himself and his own self-interest. In the end, the camera slowly glides through the building, showing us all the corpses and blood spilled, letting us know what to make of it ourselves. But Travis survives this and is hailed as a hero. Later, when Betsy is his customer, Travis views her through the rearview mirror, distancing her as well, but she accepts him, mainly because of society viewing him as righteous. This is Travis's chance to combat his loneliness, to form human connection. But he denies it and leaves. In the final shot, instead of looking at himself through the mirror, he shifts it, completely alienating himself from everyone, a tragic end to a flawed character. I was afraid I might end up disappointed in the film because it was, too hyped up. I literally just watched it and it spoke to me on a personal level. As of now, this is Scorsese's third best, but no short of a masterpiece. Just another example of a perfect film. It completely excels in its technical aspects such as its gritty cinematography, elevator-like score, and framing. Paul Schrader's screenwriting is great because it feels real and personal, and Scorsese's filmmaking elevates this magnificent screenplay to a profound and disturbing experience that forces us to look into ourselves. Thank you so much for watching.